what's on the street is like you don't know where, when, how, and why you should apply your makeup. Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name is Stella. If you are new, highly welcome. Do well to hit the subscribe button. So today I'm going to show you where you should apply your makeup product, when, how, and why you are applying a particular product in a certain way. So do join me while I take you step by step on this. So we are starting on with the brows since it's for beginners. You need a spoolie, you need your pencil. I'm using Davis number 3 eye pencil. While we are starting first with the brow today, it's for beginners. It's easier to correct your brows when you make mistake while you haven't applied every other product. So you outline your brows first, fill it in, draw hair-like strands upward. And I'm always saying your brows are your brows are sisters. You try to make them as identical as twins as possible. To conceal my brow bone area, I'm using that Flawless Ivy foundation. And why I'm concealing my brow bone? So that side I want it highlighted, like when light hit it, that side should be highlighted. Then I use the remainder to conceal downward. I don't want too much concealer on the front of my brows. And I'm blending out using my hands. It's easier to blend out with your hands because it won't match up with it won't ruin your brows. For the top of my brows, I'm using my foundation. It's easier to blend when you use your foundation. So for the other side, I'm trying to make it to resemble the first one as much as possible. I'm always telling you, your brows are sisters. So I'm using the concealer I use as my eyeshadow base. You apply eyeshadow base so that you cover discoloration around the eye, so that the eyeshadow will be more prominent when you're applying them. Those colored eyeshadow, it will come out more. If you have your eyeshadow base, you should use that one, but since I don't have, I'm using that concealer, and I'm setting it using my setting powder so that it will prevent breakage. You know that when you open your eyes and close, those breakage, it will prevent it. So for your eyeshadow, you should have palette that you have matte, like this one that look like powders. You should have shimmer shade, and you should have this neutral shade, brown orange, that you use as your transition color. Those shimmer, use it as your main color. The matte, use it for blending, or you can even still use that main color. Then use brown, orange for your transition. Brown and orange and all those neutral colors are good as transition colors. So I'm going first with that burgundy shade using a flat brush, and I'm patting this down, then dragging it a little bit, because you start little and build. If you're applying little and it's not enough, you can go in and apply some more, but you start little and build. So I go in with that orange shade and I'm blending it out now as my transition color. So blending in makeup is everything. You have to give your time to blend. If you go in and see that they are not measuring to one, you have to blend some more. And I'm using a wind-like motion to blend. So I'm going in with this shimmer shade as my main color and applying it on my eyelid using a flat brush. It's better to use a flat brush to apply shimmer shade, or you use your hands. But if you use your hands, it won't give you that concise look. If you want it to look a certain way, you use the flat brush. And I'm just patting this on too. I'm building it like I did before. So I clean my hands, or you can go and wash yours, but I didn't want to stand up. I cleaned my hand because I was using my hand so much. I go in with my moisturizer. Guys, you have to moisturize your face first. Without moisturizing, you are setting your whole makeup to fail because it won't apply well. It will leave patches. So you have to moisturize. If you don't have money for those high end, use your cream to moisturize. Then you go in with primer. The primer helps your makeup to stay longer. It minimizes pores too. So I'm applying this all over my face. Using my hands. Your hand has to be clean. If you have oily skin, you go in with oil control and apply on all those places you produce oil. For my foundation, I'm going just with 2 pumps. I always use 2 pumps because no need for too much foundation. I apply this with my hands, then I blend it out using my damp beauty sponge. The beauty sponge has to be damp, not dry, not wet. If it's wet, it will leave patches. If it's dry, it will be more difficult to blend. So I'm using a dabbing motion to blend it all in. And you should use a foundation that is your skin tone too. Using a foundation that is too light for you is like setting yourself to fail. So make sure your foundation is your skin. And how you know that, when you are buying, check on your neck. If it matches your neck, that means it's your foundation color. For my concealer, I'm going with that Flawless Ivy concealer and applying it under my eyes. I have round face, so I have to be concise where I apply my concealer. So I'm not too much product I'm not using too much product. I just want to apply on those places I want conceal and to cover my dark circles too under my eyes. I don't apply too much concealer on my forehead because I have a big forehead already, so I don't want it to look bigger. Don't want it to be pronounced by applying more concealer on there. So after dabbing in, I'm using that same beauty sponge. After dabbing in, I go with the side that I use for my foundation to blend it all in. And for my concealer, I'm just applying that V shape around my eyes. I'm not dragging it downward because it will drag down my face too, and I have a round face already. Just there, not dragging it downward. I blend my cheek and I start tackling my smile lines. I have smile lines, so my makeup always break from there, so I tackle it from now. I like liquid blushes, so I'm using that one, that pink red shade. Apply it at the back of my hands. Use my beauty sponge. This beauty sponge, I use it for almost everything. And I apply it on the apple of my cheeks. Drag it upward a little bit. I used too much today, so go use a lighter hand when you're applying. But I like blush, and I'm always saying my blush is never enough. So to set all the places I highlighted, in other words, I concealed, I turn in my setting powder at the back of the cover, use my beauty sponge, take it, then spray it at the back of my hands so that it will be evenly spread, and dab it in. You see the difference from where I set and where I did not set. I go back into the other side too. I put in my beauty sponge take some powder, swirl it at the back of my hands, and make sure it touch that pointed side because that's the closest point that it will get to my eye, so that it will set that close to my eyes too. My smile lines too, I set that place too. For my contour, I'm using powdered contour today. As a beginner, it's good to use powder contour. I'm using the first shade for powder contour and the second shade as my main powder. I'm setting my hairline. I'm always I think I have large forehead, right? So I use my contour to reduce the look of my forehead, and I don't go too dark, because if I'm going too dark, you see this powder blush that I applied, if the powder is too dark and I'm applying the contour on top of the blush, now it will look really dirty. So I'm always going just one shade darker, because I know I'm going to apply it on my blush. There's no helping it. So for my nose contour, I use an angle brush for that, and I go beneath my brows to start to drag out my nose contour. So to set all the places I did not set them, I go in with a fluffy brush, take in my powder and apply. For back to the eyes, to line, you draw where your upper lash meets your lower lash, you draw a line, then you take it. Let me keep quiet so you just watch how it's done, because I don't know how to explain this one. When it comes to the outer side, you thin it out. To line my waterline, I'm using that gel liner. It's always very soft to the eyes. It doesn't irritate the eyes. That's why I'm always using this gel liner. To blow out my lower brows, my lower lash, I'm going in with that same burgundy shade. This one always gives me that sultry look. So I like doing this, but it's optional. If you don't like it, you can skip this part. For my lashes, you guys see I don't have normal lashes, so my makeup, if I don't apply lashes, that means I've not done nothing. So I always like using it directly on myself. Then I take the lashes, look downward and apply. See how I did it? You look downward, then you apply, then you press it in with your finger. I like applying my lashes with my finger. So I make up almost everything my finger, so your hands has to be clean. Then I'm using this brown shade to line my lips. The lips is really important, because if you mess the lips, you've messed everything. Going with this neutral from Tara Beauty and lip gloss setting spray, very important. You see all those powders you have applied, you have to set them all, let it to melt into your skin. You will not be looking powdery and all. You can either fan it or you let it set, as the case may be. So guys, this is the final look. Hope you learned something from today's video. Hope I was able to be of help. Don't forget to share your thoughts on the comment section. Tell me how you like your makeup, how you do it. Do you do the brows first before your skin, or the skin first before your brows? Until the next video, bye guys.